Morning, everyone. This is our regular staff meeting. It's Monday, November 17th. We'll start off the agenda by reviewing our mid-month warrant review. Are there questions on the mid-month warrants? Actually, first, Misty, do you have any changes? No? Questions, anyone on looks like page 1 of 1? Questions? Seeing none. Moving on to the agenda, we'll start with our staff collective reports. I will call on Mark Reed. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mark Reed, County Planner. Just very briefly, a couple of minor plats. We had a pre-application last week for a 3-lot minor subdivision, which would be west of Parker Draw subdivision, if you know where that is. That one will be working its way through the process. Then we have an application for another small minor subdivision, 2 lots on Metz Road, so it's actually within an existing subdivision that was platted here just 2 or 3 years ago. It's a Peakview minor subdivision. And just a notation that this week is the end of the public comment period on the city's transportation plan, which contains many proposed routes through unincorporated areas. So you may want to take a gander at that. Last I spoke with their staff down there, their intent was also to bring that through the county's planning commission and then ultimately to you folks. So it's something that you may get to weigh in on in a more formal fashion. So I'm not sure if that's still part of their process, but makes sense. I mean, if we're going to be cooperatively planning, we ought to have some input on this thing as well. So anyway, November 22nd is the public comment period. It is. Anyway, that's all I have. Any questions? I'm happy to try to answer.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, question.
I had a question from a person the other day, and I did on the horse hotel thing out toward Banner, where YDOT denied their approach that they built to it.
Right.
Did we ever take any action on that, or do we need to take any action on that?
We had not. We did issue a building permit for that, and those are typically good for a year. But if they don't make any progress, then we can certainly say, well, that's terminated. So that's kind of where it's at.
Okay.
As far as I know, they have not done anything on the approach. I've been out there for a while. Anyway,
I truthfully haven't either. One day I drove on it and knew that it wasn't good, but yeah.
our code enforcement went by there 2-3 weeks ago and did not see any activity whatsoever at this point. So, but we do get questions on what's going on with that as well. So,
right. Okay.
anyway,
All right. Thank you.
Which one was that, Nick?
I'm fine.
Oh, it's the horse hotel thing out there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark,
yes.
you mentioned you've got 2 proposals for your subdivisions.
Yes.
The one on West Parker Draw, is that ag zoned there?
Actually, it is rural residential.
That is actually
Yeah.
rural residential.
Yeah.
And the one on Metz,
Also rural residential. That one on Metz is actually a replat, a proposed replat of previous subdivision that was approved, as I say, 2 or 3 years ago. West Fitzers are the owners of that, if you know where that is.
okay.
Where the greenhouses are, where the fellow grows.
Yeah.
grows for your-
Used to have this fuzzy stuff out in cattle.
Okay.
He's proposing to take one of the tracks that was split off 2 or 3 years ago and then kind of get it in half, basically. So,
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
that's it.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reed,
Yes.
where is the board supposed to review the roads to the unincorporated area? Is it
It's on the
source?
city's website. You can access the proposed transportation plan. Or I'm certainly finding a hard copy somewhere as well. If you're interested. It's pretty extensive, so pretty ambitious.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman. Christie? Eva, anything else? Dr. Bird? No. Jesse?
Good morning, Jesse, Emergency Management. As you know, we had that power outage last week. And we worked extensively with the hospitals, the VAs, emergency responders in coordination and dealing with that incident itself. And as you know, it was widespread across multiple counties. So that added a level of complexity to the situation. Also worked and had multiple calls with the state, so the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security, so they were informed and ready to help as needed. So we'll continue to do after action reports and investigations on that, just to see where we can improve going forward in the future if we have a similar event. So one of the problems that we're still continuing to have is with some people's alertings on their phones. So I sent out that alert last week on Thursday. How it works is we have a software program that we use, and send out those alerts, and I can set a time frame for anywhere from 30 minutes to 24 hours. This is the most I can do. Set it for 1 hour, so people should only be receiving the alert for up to 1 hour. People are still getting them, I've heard, as of today. So when I heard about this on Friday and Saturday, I spent numerous hours on the phone with our software provider. They were not sending out the alerts any longer after the 1 hour. Contacted FEMA. FEMA also, because what happens is our program then sends the alerts to FEMA. FEMA then pushes those alerts, if they're validated, to the carriers, and then the carriers push them to the phones. So I contacted FEMA, and FEMA said, no, we quit sending them after the 1 hour. We can confirm that on our end. We're no longer pushing those alerts. And then spent many hours trying to get hold of somebody on the weekends at the carriers, and with no real good solution besides for the tricks and tips of updating your phones and clearing your notifications, which was a new one for us. So I did get an email address for the software engineers that program these alerts. So I sent them an email this morning to see if they could address the problem. The challenge with it is it's across all carriers and all devices. So some people are getting them and some people aren't. And I can't figure out what type of phone it is or what the commonality is between who's getting them and who's not. Because nobody in my house has continued to get them, and a lot of people haven't. But some people have, and it's very frustrating for them. And the last thing we want people to do is to turn off those alerts. So I will continue to work on this as diligently as I can to hopefully address the problem. So I don't know if you're getting any emails or calls about it, but I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of this problem, and I'm working as hard as I can to address it.
Jesse, was it technology-wide, or was it just AT&T specifically?
I thought at first it was just AT&T, but then I've been contacted by people when I made a Facebook post that they're on Verizon plans and having it too. And then I thought at first it might have been just iPhones, but people with Androids are also having a problem.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm just dumbfounded on trying to figure out what the commonality is, why some people are and some aren't. So that leads me to believe there's got to be some bug in their software programming, and that's why I'm hoping that the engineers that programmed it through FEMA are the solution to the problem, if they can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to address it at this point.
Okay, questions for Jesse, anybody?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Emergency Management, Leadership Thompson. Did you get any calls about concerns for fires? So, and if so, are there any fires still going as a result of this power outage?
I'm not aware of any still going. All the fires that were the start of the results of the power outage were quickly put out by our volunteer fire departments. So they did a great job on that. But yes, there was multiple fire starts as a result of the power surges and power going off. And to be clear, that as it's been reported, we it didn't start here in Sheridan County, that wasn't the issue. But as they tried to surge the power back on, some power lines may have sparked or transformers may have blown, which resulted in grass fires. And so those were all well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anybody else? All I know is we were crossing the state line in Bags Saturday morning and my wife's phone just went crazy with alerts. So anyway.
Well, that was intended, that was good. The only other thing is I will be out next week, so I will be out of state, so out of pocket. Ed is our public health coordinator, and so he's usually my backup while I'm here and while I'm gone, and so he's aware and he'll be helpful, and he can get a hold of the other emergency managers if something widespread happens, and needs assistance. And by the way, he was a huge, tremendous help during this power outage. We spent a lot of time side by side working through the issues and stuff, because as you can imagine, the public health concerns were great during a large scale fire.
Absolutely.
So we were in the office together working for many hours after hours trying to resolve the issues and concerns of the public.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Kimber, Eric, Robert, anything right now? Kelly? Kenny? Levi?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, to add on to that discussion about the power outage, we did have some surges in this building and other buildings. All the generators did kick on except for the justice office. That did blow out one of the, I guess, the electronics for the transfer switch. So that was done manually. There was some radio equipment that got surged in. So we're evaluating the equipment, but I don't think it's going to be over the 5,000 to file for insurance. But my purpose is to let you know that I'm seeking input from other departments, electeds, if they have damage, to reach out. Right now, if it's IT, they're going to IT, or if it's maintenance, they're going to maintenance. But we are evaluating that right now. I have nothing else.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Mr. Jennings.
The only thing that I have is Commissioner Art and I will be on Public Pulse, I believe this Thursday, and we've asked Cameron to join us. And he didn't look real excited, but he agreed to go with us. So if anybody has anything, I'm certainly going to bring up the property tax I'm signed up for. But if anybody else has anything they want us to talk about, let me know.
Very good.
Or Mike.
I have nothing. Commissioner Siddle, anything?
Nothing today.
Commissioner Hassel?
No, sir.
I don't have anything either, so moving on. We have a, pardon me, public hearing for comment on proposals received for the lease of hangar at 903 West Friendly Lane. We'll call Robert Gill, our airport manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robert Gill, Sheridan County Airport Manager. On August 15th, 2025, the Sheridan County Airport issued a request for proposal regarding the lease of hangar located at 903 West Friendly Lane. The RFP was advertised in the Sheridan Press on August 19th and September 2nd, with additionally posted on the Sheridan County website. Proposals were accepted until August 30th, 2025 at 2 p.m. One proposal was received by Bighorn Airways as a primary base and storage facility for FBO services. The proposals were posted on the Sheridan County website on October 31st, 2025 for public review. According to Sheridan County leasing rules of county-owned property at the airport, public hearing shall be held. In compliance with these rules, public notices were published in the press on November 3rd and November 10th. And that's all I've got.
Questions for Robert on any of this? This item requires a public hearing, which I would open at 9:14. Thank you, Robert. Is there anybody in the public who wants to make a comment on item number 4? Nobody. Going once. Twice. I will close the public hearing at 9:15.
Ready for the motion?
I guess this is a public hearing.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we have no public comment. Moving on in the agenda is item number 5, consider letter of support for Habitat for Humanity of the Eastern Bighorns and seeking Habitat for Humanity International to reconsider restrictions of area median income, also known as AMI, eligibility in our community. I call Cameron Duff, Administrative Director.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, good morning. We received a request from Habitat for Humanity at the same time that the city of Sheridan also received a request. It's dealing with the ability to, I guess, sell the properties to individuals that have a different area median income. So Habitat right now has a AMI of 60 to 80% of the area median income. When this housing land trust was created, they wanted it to go up a higher amount, above that 80, all the way up to 120. The request from Habitat was to go ahead and just outline in the letter of support that we were aware of their request to go higher and to call it out because it wasn't in the original contract. So that was the reasoning for that. I do want to comment that there was an article in Sheridan Press this past Saturday. And I was unaware that Habitat has been known about this for about a year. So it came to us, meaning Stu and I, saying, hey, we need this letter, and within 48 hours, we had that drafted and emailed to you, but we were unaware that it had been going on for a while. So I just, for full disclosure, want to enter that in the record. Any questions?
Questions for Cameron? Questions? On my sign-up sheet, I have Vicki Taylor wants to talk on item number 5. Vicki, come to the podium, please.
Can you hear me? There is a certain amount of levity in my comments. There is a theory that the Titanic left on her maiden voyage with a out of control fire in one of the boiler rooms, and the Titanic's captain knew about the fire. Thanks to excellent reporting by the Sheridan Press, we now are aware that in 2024, the local Habitat for Humanity knew they had fire below deck. The Titanic left port to meet the demands of the ship's investors. The Habitat for Humanity Land Trust ship sailed to meet what demands? Possibly to be a statewide example for Habitat for Humanity land trusts. You can't ask the captain of the land trust ship, the administrator of the attainable, as she has abandoned ship. She's no longer employed by HFH. Without city council action, and by that I mean a formal address to a letter of support, Mr. McRae and Mayor Bridger have sent the letter of support for the local Habitat for Humanity of the Eastern Bighorns. I, a taxpayer and also a third-class passenger on the Titanic, would ask the BOC to not send a letter of support for this disaster. And I'll repeat, please don't send that letter of support. And I would ask you to exit your trust arrangement. Return the county's share of ARP funds to the federal government. Skip the SOS message. It's time to abandon ship. And I say this with a certain amount of humor, but I see this as an unmitigated mistake. And by the way, Ms. Rivera, the director, came on board in January of 2024. I've attended almost all the meetings, and I have of the land trust, and I'm aware of the report by the press. So I simply want to thank you for listening to my comments. I would really hope you would put the pause button on this. We don't know what Habitat for Humanity International is going to do. And I don't think it's the one out of Americus, Georgia. I've got the phone number for the national organization. But this arrangement, this denial, this refusal to say that they were not in compliance with the mothership is highly questionable and might remain that way. So that's all I'm saying this morning. Take it for what it's worth. I wanted to throw in a couple of funny chuckles here because this is a grim day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicki.
I know you don't have. I think we do.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for the sake of discussion, I would move to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the letter of support for Habitat for Humanity of the Eastern Bighorns to seek reconsideration from Habitat for Humanity International on restrictions of AMI eligibility in our community.
Second.
The motion and second, discussion? Surely there's some discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so I first wanted to say, it's really disappointing to see, even though I was not on the board at this point, when this was formed, it's really sad to see that Habitat knew about this and didn't bring it forward to that committee. So that's my first thing, but the second thing, as I've been reading the documents that were provided, by the way, thank you, Cameron. One of the main things that was brought forward, and this is in the Sheridan County Attainable Housing Establishing Agreements that was signed in November 2022. And the findings were, I'm reading this directly from the document, in accordance with Wyoming Statute 15-10-102, the city and county find that there is a shortage of safe and sanitary dwelling accommodations in Sheridan County available to persons of low income at rentals and prices they can afford. And so as I look at what the program and the land trust is attempting to do, they're going for what's called the missing middle. And I think we have a problem there because it's very clear that Wyoming statute and the Constitution says low income or necessary support of the poor. So, I think we've got a bigger problem. So I'm not going to be in favor of this.
Okay, other discussion?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to be redundant here, but it looks to me like we might be going down a tough path. I do not know this federal government getting involved with county business, and I think that's what's looking like it's going to happen. It's necessary support for us what this, and I can speak with a little bit of expertise on this. When Habitat for Humanity first was began, I actually worked for the housing weatherization project, and I can recall several times where we donated our pay per day, pay per hour, just so we could put more materials into houses that were needing them. It was some of the places we went to, I couldn't believe people actually lived in them. That's necessary support for the poor, and I agreed with that type of a program. I think this is getting way out of bounds, and so I will be voting against this.
Other discussion? Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Chairman, during the amount of time that we've worked on this housing trust and so on, and had the Gruen and Gruen study and whatever, one of the things that we hear continually is that we are losing our youth to areas outside of our community because although they are young professionals, they can't afford to be young professionals and find a place to live in Sheridan County. And so I truly believe that the objective when we did this was to try and hit that group. There is not a definition of necessary support of the poor, but I guess I would consider that someone who is poor is someone who can't afford to live in a community, regardless of the fact that our community is a very expensive place to live. And so I still think 80 to 120% would be considered in our community to be probably support of the poor. But this situation is simply a letter of support. and we already have the agreement with Habitat for Humanity. If we can get national to agree to it, then we don't have an issue. So in my mind, I think that we certainly need to support the letter and then go forward. And if the letter is denied, and if this whole thing is denied, then we cross that bridge when we get to it.
Very good. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yeah.
would agree with Commissioner Siddle's comments and just add that, you know, again, in those years that we were trying to figure out how we wanted to tackle this, we visited with folks in other communities regionally because programs exist in communities like ours. And I think, you know, even at one point, Lost Cat Housing Authority. So I think this is a real issue. And I would agree with Nick. This is a letter of support. We'll see what happens once they get the letter, and we'll go from there.
Very good. I guess I would tend to agree with comments from Commissioner Siddle and Haswell, just because we have a disagreement about what the definition of poor is, does not mean we still don't need this to go forward. We are losing, like Commissioner Siddle said, we don't have a place for teachers, firemen, police officers to buy, to live as a family. And anything on the market that they can afford needs to be gutted and rebuilt almost entirely, so.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you know, this is an allowable use of those ARPA funds.
Mhm.
So I mean, I just want to add that
Yeah.
there as well.
To send it back to the federal government is, I mean, it's like a drop in an ocean to them. They ain't gonna care one way or the other if it gets sent back or not. Right? Anyway, I would be support of the letter of support. Anyway, other discussion? Anyone? Yes?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify, on my desk was a, article from the Shared Press marked and tagged. Did you guys read this? It was on my,
Just in general.
or on my book.
We have it.
Okay, so is it part of the record, Mr. Chairman?
It was just to make the nation aware of the article from Saturday.
Anyway, other discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor of the letter of support, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed?
No, sorry.
Motion passes, and with that, we are adjourned at 9:00.
I said aye, but it was a no. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Hey, Joe.
Most of the fourth quarter.
Okay.
At a nice house. It looked
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a nail bar, but